Monopoly. How to play. The object of the game is to be the last player standing. Lay out the board, and each player picks a token and places it on go. Give each player $1,500 divided as follows: 2 500s, 100s, and 50s, 6 20s, and 5 10s, 5s, and 1s. All the remaining money stays with the game and is called the bank. One person is the banker and manages the money of the bank, which must stay separate from their player money. Place the property cards, houses, and hotels with the bank. Shuffle the chance and community chest cards and place them face down on their spots on the board. Each player rolls the dice, and the player with the highest total goes first, then play proceeds clockwise. On your turn, roll both dice and move your token exactly that many spaces clockwise around the board. If you land on an unowned property, you may buy it from the bank for the listed price. You receive the property card and place it face up in front of you. If you do not wish to buy it, then the bank sells it at auction to the highest bidder. If you land on a property that another player owns, pay them rent according to the price on their property card. If they own all the properties of the same color, then you must pay them double rent on unimproved properties. An unimproved property is a space that doesn't have any houses or a hotel on it. If the player does have houses or a hotel, you must pay them the corresponding price. The property owner may not collect rent if he fails to ask for it before the next player rolls the dice. If you do not have enough money to pay another player or the bank, you must sell off your hotels, houses, and mortgage properties until you can pay the creditor. To mortgage a property you own, flip it face down and collect the mortgage price from the bank. If a player lands on a mortgaged property, they do not pay any rent and they are not allowed to buy the mortgaged property. To unmortgage a property, you must pay the bank the mortgage price plus 10%. Unimproved properties in a monopoly still receive the double rent bonus even if some of the properties are mortgaged. If you sell and mortgage everything and still don't have enough money to pay, you are bankrupt and you are out of the game. You give all that you have to the creditor. Mortgaged properties remain mortgaged. As you travel around the board, several things can happen. If you land on a chance or community chest, you draw one card from its respected draw pile and follow the instructions on the card. If you land on the tax space, you pay the bank the proper amount. If you land on free parking, nothing happens. When you land on or pass go, you collect $200 from the bank. If you land on go to jail, you go immediately to jail, and you do not pass go, and you do not collect $200. If you land on the jail space, you aren't in jail, but just visiting. If you roll doubles, you get to roll and move again, unless this is the third time you've rolled doubles in a single turn. Then you go straight to jail. If you're in jail, you still are allowed to buy and sell houses, trade with players, and collect rent. However, at the start of your turn, you may pay $50 to be released from jail. If you do this, pay, then roll the dice and continue your turn as normal. Or, if you choose not to pay, you can still roll dice. If you roll doubles, you are released from jail and move that many spaces. Then your turn ends and you do not get to roll again. If you fail to roll doubles by your third turn in jail, you must pay the $50 and move the number of spaces you did roll. During the game, you may only trade with other players cash, get out of jail free cards, and properties that do not have any houses or hotels on them. You may not sell buildings to players. You may not trade free rent or loan players money. You may not gift players money. When you own all the properties of the same color, you have a monopoly. You are now allowed to build houses and hotels on those properties. The price for each house is listed on each property. You must build and sell houses evenly across all properties in a monopoly. You are not allowed to build up or break down just one property. If the bank runs out of houses for you to buy, You must wait until another player sells houses before you can buy houses, or you must buy straight up 2 hotels. When you sell houses back to the bank, they give you half of the value you purchased them for. You may buy and sell houses during your turn or in between other players' turns. When a player has 4 houses on each of their properties in a monopoly, they may upgrade those properties to a hotel for the cost of another house, replacing the 4 houses on the property with a hotel. A property with a hotel may not be improved further. There are 32 houses and 12 hotels in the game. You may not play with more than this. When paying income tax, you must decide whether you are going to pay the fixed price or the 10% of your total worth of cash, properties, and buildings before adding everything up. The last player remaining wins the game.